for Compassion Board and president of and founder of Worldwide Meeting on Human Values is Encuentro Mundial de Valores in Monterrey, Mexico. And I really, on behalf of the Board of Trustees, I thank you for being with us today and for the support you offer to these great organizations that I have the honor to lead at this point. We greatly appreciate all of your efforts to help us expand the world of compassionate service in order to make the world a better place, following the peaceful path of the heart and of the soul. With your support, we have been able to highlight the wonderful work being carried out in our compassionate cities. Cities from all around the globe have united with us and are carrying out wonderful projects that highlight our cause. We post these events on the charter website so anyone and any city might view these best practices. With the vision of integrating all the sectors, we have certified in Mexico, in Nuevo León, 17 cities, 10 universities all over the country, and more than 55 NGOs, business. We are working with the interreligious group. We also have ambassadors in media, and we have been able to extend our educational program from charter, adding the compassionate integrative training in Monterrey as part of this partnership between the different sectors, creating a self-directed learning version in Spanish to reach out all the sectors, business, government, education, in a massive project where we are now having 4,000 people, and we are expecting to finish the year working with around 20,000 people participating exactly in this program. But we also have a partnership with Think Equal, another of the Charters program, and is an extremely effective socio-emotional program that we have implemented here in Nuevo León, Mexico for the last 4 years, planting the seeds of compassion in children aged 3 to 6, reaching approximately 3,700 children, and an overall impact of over 12,000 people, teachers, parents, and friends. And with your support, the connection that the charter helps build between people, partners, programs, and communities around the world has been strengthened considerably, showing a lot of light where people are involved. So thank you again. And well, if you have any question, please put them in the chat. We will answer the question at the end. Thank you very much. Thank you, Marilyn.
Thank you, Christina. I just am putting up here so that you can take a look. I know it's always pretty hard to understand how the charter works, but we've created this compassion wheel. And as you can see, the very core of the wheel is compassion. And we talk about planetary DNA, or, how is it that we can work with ourselves and with others around the issue really are part of compassion. And so we look at ourselves as the transformers, and then you see that first dotted line radiating out from the middle, which talks about the programs that Christina, for example, has just talked about. And they are, as she mentioned, compassion integrity training and our own charter education institute. And then we move out to our 2,600 partners. And right there, almost in the middle, is our communities and our cities, where I started the conversation today. But we talked and mentioned a little bit about the 12 sectors of the charter. And those are very broad thematic areas that are really part of the DNA of any community. And for the most part, for a lot of different organizations. And I'm going to invite Sarah right now, who is part of the gender relations. And so that as you kind of go to the intersection of the middle of our compassion wheel, you'll see that gender relations. And the idea here is that all of these sectors, at times can interact with one another, and they can also co-create with one another. So I'm going to let Sarah take the stage right now.
Thank you, Marilyn. So I'm Sarah Jamil, and I'm calling in from Toronto, Canada. I'm a co-facilitator of the women and girls sector. And as Marilyn mentioned, showing the wheel, we fall under the gender relations. And actually, I'm very, very honored and excited to announce that the women and girls sector has been in a deep conversation the past year, exploring what else we could be doing. We have been amplifying partners of the charter who focus on women and girls issues and advocacy education, and we saw a need to expand. And so with that, we are now announcing a change or a transition in our sector name, to gender partnerships. With that, the reason we wanted to is we need the expansion. We need everyone at the table to have conversations around injustices, violence, and domination in the world of any kind. And when we talk about gender healing and reconciliation, then we have to include everyone. So what we've done, or what we are doing, is we're still creating safe space for women and girls to have their conversations, men and boys to have theirs, and then we have a safe space also for our LGBTQ plus community. So we have each our sector space, yet our overall name is gender partnerships, because we still want to work in collaboration with each other. It's not a and that's with the name change, we're also hosting webinar series this year around exploring this. We're inviting people to explore the answers, and because we don't have them, but we're willing to have courageous conversations. And that's what we're doing with the help and support of all our donors. So thank you very much.
Great, thank you, Sarah. Felipe, why don't you jump in on the conversation?
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. My name is Felipe. I am one of the new additions to the charter staff from this year. And I am sort of like helping with anything tech, social media marketing. It's been a privilege to be able to create ripples of compassion in the virtual world, especially now during lockdowns and COVID, and not being able to interact in conferences and things like that the charter usually does. And so we've been able to, in a way, transfer all these different materials and communications and everything in the online world. And I obviously invite you to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. We're trying to stay very active, trying to promote content that is inspiring, but also informative. Trying to keep up with all the different things that the charter is doing, because there's so much between courses and webinars and service opportunities and all these different informative things. We are trying to provide all those as easy as possible in all this online spaces. So we're truly grateful to be able to have that opportunity for all of us to get to have those materials around. And obviously everything in those spaces is free for anyone to check out. So I invite you to follow that. Also, one of the other projects that we did, and it's very much thank you to your contribution, is that we were able to do Golden Rule Day once again this year. We celebrated around the world for 4 hours. At different times of the world, and we were able to link up with different members and partners of different parts of the world, where they gave a little introduction of these different programming areas or sections in different parts of the world. So it was really cool. And that's one of the things that is so beautiful and wonderful about the Charter for Compassion, is the intersectionality and communion that we get to see with the different sectors that we have, with the different partners around the world, realizing that there's a synchronicity so special to this work, realizing that we're all caring about similar issues and approaching them with our different capacities. And it's wonderful to be able to witness that as part of the staff of the Charter for Compassion. So thank you for your support, and we hope that you can enjoy the content that we keep creating and passing on, and remember that you can become an agent of compassion in your own communities as you share the things that we put online. And truly, it's a wonderful privilege and joy, and so lucky. I feel so lucky to be able to provide all this for the Charter for Compassion during this year. So thank you.
Thanks, Felipe. And now we're going to turn it over to Susan, whose idea this was to start out with, and she's going to take it forward.
Thank you. Part of the reason I was wanting to host something like this is because the Charter has an incredible base of sponsors, of donors, of people who contribute either one time or regularly to sustain this organization. And I wanted to create an opportunity not only for us to say thank you to you, but also for you to ask questions of us, to hear a little, just a smattering of what the Charter's doing, and then engage with us with questions. We have beautiful people here who can answer your questions or comments. If you have suggestions, we are open to everything. This really is, as hard as a webinar is, it's a two-way conversation as best as we can make it. So please, if you have comments or questions, we'd love to hear from you. And I wanted to make sure that we also recognized the amazing contributions of the volunteers. Sarah is one, and of course our board chair, Christina, is one. We have hundreds of volunteers out and about throughout the world who are doing incredible work to promote and spread compassion. And so I just wanted to make sure that they were honored and recognized today. That really, this really is just a informal gathering, and I don't know if other questions have come up.
Yeah, Marilyn, why don't you talk about Global Read? I think it's a beautiful program also for the world. Yes.
Right, and you know, I'm recognizing some of the names that are part of the audience. So I think that, Susan, you're the host, and if somebody wants to come online and just ask a question or contribute to the conversation, that would be great. The program that Christina is referring to is our Global Read, where we take one book per month, 12 books during the year, and we invite the author of the book to come on and just to share his or her notions of, you know, what is the core essence of that book? How does it relate to compassion? And so we just had a wonderful Global Read last month. Well, it was actually the beginning of this month. We had to move it a little bit. Sand Talk with an Aboriginal person from Australia. And it was a conversation about the whole notion of how there is a wisdom within a culture, and especially one of the oldest cultures, if not the oldest culture in the world, and what do they have to share with us. So it's a really wonderful book. And we have a great lineup. You can just go to the Charter website and under our programs, you can see Global Read and have an opportunity to learn about the book, a little bit about the background of the author. And then usually we have a facilitator who is in the field of the subject matter of the book, who interacts with the author as well. And you have an opportunity as part of the audience to ask your questions.
Just to let everyone know, I have posted the link on our chat right here in Zoom. And for those that hablan español, we're going to have a Global Read in Spanish in June. So para los que hablan español, vamos a tener uno de estos programas de Global Read en junio y va a ser en español. Así que por favor, júntense con nosotros si quieren.
However, or I should say in addition, it doesn't matter. We're going to try our new, it's part of Zoom, but it's called an interpretation link. So you can come in and you check the language This time we're only doing it in 2 languages. You can do it up to 5 languages if we only had the capability of having instantaneous translators. But it'll be a great opportunity. You'll be hearing it in English, you'll be hearing it in Spanish, hopefully with a lot of finesse and real comfort, because we're going to have it down pat by the time of the global read. Here's a question: how can I volunteer? Some of those sectors look real interesting. Okay, well, boy, you can let us know just by contacting contact@charterforcompassion.org and say you're interested. And we have a wonderful survey that kind of presents some of the things we've been talking about today and how you might be able to interact with those. And then you'll hear directly either from one of the charter staff people or from sector folks, because we'll send, if you're interested in gender partnerships, then we would send it to Sarah and her partner in the sector, Donna Mills, or if you're interested in the arts or social justice or business. We really want to say we would love to have more people in business and more people in education to join as volunteers. So, just let us know. Thank you.
I have posted
and
the link for the volunteer form in the chat as well.
Yeah, you can fill that out and send it, and then we can really hit the ground running. What about some of you other folks? I'm wondering, Carla May, I'm going to embarrass you, from St. Louis, because you're doing a lot of really wonderful things. And Leslie, I'm not quite certain because the last name's not there, but are you the Leslie of the College of William and Mary? So, and I see other names here, but if you not only, would like to hear from you, not necessarily in the question form, but certainly even just to let us know what you're doing. Very shy people.
While we're waiting for, sorry.
I'm just not sure how to bring them on, Marilyn.
I think that,
so it's a technical, I'm lacking that technical skill.
are you the host for the?
I am the host, so I've got everything in front of me.
Can I see Mimi? Is it possible for you to make Mimi a host or co-host? And then she could make, anyone who wants to come on, like a panelist.
Let me see if I can do that.
So while we're doing this, I would like to announce to everyone that this week we have a lot of cool things that you can check out with the Charter. Tomorrow we have a youth listening circle. The Charter has been trying to start a new youth initiative. We have called it the Youth Compassionate Collaborative. And tomorrow we're hosting one of our listening circles specifically for people 15 to 35 years of age. Which we'll be talking a lot about how compassion adaptation have played a key role in our lives during this year of COVID. Also on Wednesday, so then the following day, Sarah actually will have an activity on a little webinar on partnerism. What is it and what does it have to do with compassion? Sort of like a little bit more of an explanation of gender partnerships. And I don't know, Sarah, if you want to like expand more on that.
Yeah. So, thanks, Felipe. Yes, it's going to be a roundtable, organic conversation facilitated by a few questions that we have. We'd like to explore the term partnership, how that shows up in your life and work life, personal life, in our relations, and so that can inform the conversation further. So there'll be breakout rooms, pretty. Like, as I said, organic, down to earth conversation, but real conversation. And anyone can join with whatever bit of wisdom they have. It's a very open space, safe space.
And just to go back to what Felipe was saying, for the last year, there have been conversations going on among youth. And so they have been closed conversations to a certain extent, though everyone was welcome, but they were primarily for our youth community. And we're really excited so that if you have people in your community, in your circle, your family circle, extended family circle, in organizations that you might be working with, or in a college or university setting, please invite them, send them the link and invite them to the conversation, because Felipe, am I right that somewhere down the line within this year, we're planning for a kind of gathering? So
yeah, absolutely. So it's very interesting how the youth circle came about, and I can tell you so much more if you want to like link up with me later on. But basically, it started us like creating a virtual event, and we've been very much encouraged to support all this evolution and organically growing differently through our conversations. And we realized that what we needed as this youth initiative has been created, it wasn't just an event, but it was more of an online community. So currently we're working on creating a website that will help us to get all connected. And surely throughout the year, we'll have some sort of like activity or virtual event where we'll have that, that idea that we had at the beginning. But this has become so much more than just a one-time event. And that's a really exciting thing. We've been trying to embrace that organic growth through the conversations and discover that we've had for the youth by the youth. So really, really cool. So anyone with youth, please invite them over, because there's a really cool project going on.
And it'll be a great opportunity for people to meet from all over the world, which in itself is always a wondrous thing. Okay. Well, I don't see any more hands up.
I don't see any other questions, and I did promote Mimi to see if she might be able to.
I'm here.
Are you able to help bring folks on so they can be, their face can be present, or is it just a Q&A in the chat?
I can bring people on the same way that you brought me on.
Oh, just by promoting them as a panelist. Gotcha. Okay.
And do we want to do that?
I don't know. I was asking Marilyn.
Well, I was just hoping that, yeah, it would be wonderful to hear from, a few people if they're open. Maybe they can, they can send you a little hands up, right, Mimi?
Yeah, if you want to raise your hand at the bottom of your Zoom screen, I will promote you to panelist so that you are joining all of us here. Here's Carla May.
I knew, Carla May, you would do it. Thank you. Your mic is off, but if you would be willing to turn it on, Leslie, the same thing. So Carla May, why don't you introduce yourself to people? And
sure, I'll be glad to. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm Carla May Streeter. I'm the convener in the St. Louis area. And just to be very brief, we are in the heartland of the United States. That means we're smack in the center of the country. And we view ourselves as having cardiac arrest. We are the heartland with a heart problem. And therefore, we are on our way to becoming a city or a region of compassion to heal what racial and other terrible psychic wounding is present in this area from the Civil War of the United States. This is a place that was a slave state. This was a place where Dred Scott was declared not to be a human being, but to be a property and to be returned to his slave owner. This is the story of the race riots in 1960, the burning of East St. Louis. I could go on and on. We are like a Beirut or like an Israel-Palestine sadness in the heart of the United States. Right now, we have about 172 individual partners. We have about 30 organizations partnering with us. Our thrust for this year is to build that base. So we have an outreach team right now, and we're grouping ourselves according to gatekeepers, those that are going to deal with education, with law and governance and incarceration, those working with art, those working with the sports. We have Cardinals and Blues here. And so We're dividing to conquer, and we're trying to get gatekeepers at every one of those areas to reach out to the community, bring them on board as explicit partners signing on to the charter. We have to have an attitudinal change here. And that begins very deep. We are under the radar. We're not yelling and shouting and screaming, but we have some wonderful support here. And we're moving into the civic business community. That's our thrust. I think that's enough, Marilyn,
Thank you.
to give you an idea of what's ticking here in St. Louis.
Okay, thank you. Leslie, you came on and we're going to allow you to end this whole session.
Wow, what an
I
honor.
know.
Nothing as dynamic as what Carla May was talking about, but the William and Mary, the College of William and Mary in Williamsburg, Virginia, in the United States, is a university of compassion. We signed the Charter for Compassionate Schools in 2016, and we've been continuing on that track. We have a Compassionate Action Board, and right now what we're working on is a program called Building Connections and Bridging Differences, because that in the university setting, that's what's really needed. It's needed in the whole world, but that's what we found that we really needed. And we've developed a set of 4 modules to train. You watch the video, and then there's an interactive session after that where we have breakout groups and we discuss what we learned in the video, just to be able to have those uncomfortable or conversations with other people who don't agree with you. Doing disagreements well is one of the things we talk about. So that's what we've been working on for the last couple of years. You know, everything sort of got modified and evolved through COVID, but that's what we've been working on at the College of William and Mary.
Thanks so much. And I have a feeling that some of the people involved in these units of study might be interested in the youth group and might also be interested in the gender partnerships, just to join the conversation and just see how it is.
Yes,
Susan,
definitely we'll promote that.
great.
Yes, thank
Thanks so
you.
much. So, Susan, do you want to wrap it up?
Yeah, I'm just so thrilled that you all showed up today. We didn't know how this would go. We really wanted just an opportunity to say thank you to all of our supporters. We have recorded this and we'll send this out to everyone who was not able to be here. And thank you to everyone who shared, even on the spur of the moment. It's so gracious of you just to come on and share like that. So thank you to everyone who was here. And a really big thank you to our supporters who make our work possible. And how's that? We kept it at almost 30 minutes.
Great.
So
Thanks so much. Bye,
thank
everyone.
you all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Thanks so much.